Hello and welcome to another daily devotion as we talk about putting prayer into practice, and this week focusing on the ministry of faith formation, often associated with Sunday school or children's ministries, but really it's a lifelong endeavor. And again, I want to share another story with you because that's where I often think most about faith formation, is those contact points where somebody really, their life has changed or they really open themselves to God. And so I'll talk to you about Glenn. Glenn was a kid in my high school youth group when I was the youth pastor at my first church. And Glenn was one of those kids who pushes you to want to get out of youth ministry. Man, he was just hell on wheels. Saran wrapping my car and smushing glazed donuts and jelly donuts on the windshield, and shooting me in the crotch with a water soaker. And as I'm trying to talk to the youth group, he just was tough to handle sometimes, right? So we're on a mission trip, and I'm thinking not all of us are going to make it back from this trip, as I'm praying for Glenn to have a come to Jesus moment. And we are on this beach, and we are getting ready to do our closing foot washing ceremony and closing thoughts and prayers with the kids. And Glenn's goofing around, and he sees this guy on the beach with some headphones, and he's got a handheld, metal detector, and he's got the baggy pants. He looks kind of like a bum, and so Len starts, mimicking him, and Glenn starts mimicking him and making fun of him, and I say, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Oh, yeah," and I was like, and then he went over and introduced himself, and the young man's name was Trey, but still it was kind of a mock, introducing himself. He's doing this because I asked him to apologize to him. And Trey went away with his metal detector and his headphones, and we were having our closing worship on the beach, and I had given the kid who played guitar for us, said, "I forgot my guitar, can I go and get my guitar out of the van?" I said, "Sure." "Can I have the keys to the van?" I said, "Sure." He comes back, and he's playing guitar, really moving worship service. All the kids are sharing stories about the week. It's been awesome. And we're going back to the vans. I say, "Hey, where's the keys?" "Mark, what'd you do with the keys?" "Well, I put them down by your shoes on the beach." "You mean the shoes I'm wearing? The beach back there? With the tide coming in?" "Yeah." "Mark." So we go back there. I'm on hands and knees with all these people, looking for car keys, praying to God that they haven't been buried by the water already and taken out to the ocean. It's the only set of keys I have for these vans. And after about 20 minutes of looking, I just say, we got to pray. I mean, we're in a row, shoulder to shoulder, 10 of us, adults and youth, and Glenn, looking for these car keys. And so I stop and we pray. And honest to God, here comes this light coming at us down the beach. The light gets closer and closer, and I hear a familiar voice, and I don't know how it's familiar, because who the heck is this person on the beach? And it's Trey with his metal detector. 3.5 hours later. Trey, who Glenn had made fun of and mocked. And sure enough, Trey finds the keys, finds my glasses. No wonder I couldn't find them, right? Fast forward 20 years. Glenn asked me to do his wedding. And as we're talking about the service, just before, a pre-marriage class, he's getting ready to walk out with his fiancée, and he says, "Hey, Pastor Scott, you remember that guy Trey?" "Yeah, I remember Trey." "Yeah, Trey changed my life." "Tell me about that, Glenn." "Yeah, I judged how he looked and how he was carrying himself, and I was making fun of him. And then that couldn't have been coincidence that I met Trey, and then here comes Trey in the middle of the night helping us. That wasn't circumstantial. God was in Trey. He was like an angel or something." He's like, "It's always made me struggle. It's always made me think about how I look at the book by its cover when I look at somebody, and I should be less quick to make a snap judgment or to use my humor in a way that belittles somebody else. That moment changed me." And so I'd say to you, for mission trips, because I always have people say, why you got to go to, why do you got to go to Atlanta? Or why do you got to go to Philly? Or, why can't you just stay in Chicago? There's people who need Chicago. Yeah, but I can't keep a kid or an adult in the same comfortable routines and places that are familiar and have them hear God in the same way that they do if nothing's familiar at all. And there's no comfort level. And you're out on the limb. And then God can really say, hey, I've been talking to you all this time when you've been back home in Chicago or in Downers Grove. But now maybe I've got your attention. Certainly was the case for Glenn. And I hope that in faith formation, we have room enough to be surprised by God.